No new charter schools. That's the request from the NAACP at their national convention in Cincinnati. A resolution was approved calling for a moratorium on the expansion of charter schools. The resolution reads in part, charter schools have contributed to the increased segregation rather than diverse integration of our public school system, and that weak oversight of charter schools puts students and communities at risk of harm, public funds at risk of being wasted, and further erodes local control of public education. The resolution reaffirms the 2014 resolution, and the NAACP opposes the privatization of public schools and or public subsidizing or funding of for-profit or charter schools. Of course, it will not become official policy for the NAACP until its national board meeting later this fall. But so many charter schools are actually doing well. More than 3 million kids across the country are actually in charter schools. The question is this sound policy for African Americans? Joining us in the studio, Washington Bureau Director of the NAACP, Hillary Shelton, via FaceTime, Dr. Steve Perry, founder and head of schools for Capital Preparatory Schools. So, Hillary, this particular resolution was offered from the floor. Was a particular state, or did it come from the board?
It was from a particular state. The way our system is set up, any member of the NAACP in good standing can submit a resolution to be considered by the national organization at our national convention. This came up through the normal process of review and on to the floor of our convention just 2 weeks ago.
But here's the question: if you look at right now, and look, I'm a school choice supporter. If you look at what's happening in Harlem, you got thousands, 20,000 parents on waiting lists to get into charter schools. Steve Perry had a school there in Hartford, Connecticut. Thousands on a waiting list as well. Sounds to me like parents, especially black parents, are saying they want the option. And in fact, we did a poll here. Cornell Belcher, Democratic pollster, did this. 72% of black parents favor charter schools. Is the NAACP out of step with black folks?
No, not at all. As a matter of fact, we're looking at exactly what's happening in charter schools. About 18 years ago, we came out with our first position on charter schools. And what we said was charter schools need to be at least a minimum standard of any public school. What we had during those times and thereafter were charter schools that were being put in place in many places to undercut many of the policies and protections civil rights has provided. Things like, for instance, making sure that teachers at least have a degree and are certified before they teach. That's a minimum standard. Many charter schools went around that and even hired teachers without degrees at all, creating all kinds of other problems. We had charter schools that were carpetbaggers. That is, they'd come in, and before they could figure out that the charter school was not providing the service, the charter school was gone. Now look, you're right. There are some charter schools that have proven effective, but if you go back and talk to the assistant secretaries for civil rights in the Department of Education, the last two, you'll find all the suits that have been filed because charter schools are being utilized in places like Mississippi, Alabama, and North Carolina as tools to maintain segregation. So in essence, that's why we're calling for a moratorium. We've got to take a closer look at this. There's a big problem with how these schools are being utilized in so many areas. Now, we can point to a few. There's a good one in New York that seems to be showing good results. There's a couple schools other places. Few good results, but just a few.
No, I won't say few. I mean, I can show you a number of schools. Steve Perry, I want to go to you. Your reaction to this resolution?
They couldn't be more out of touch if they ran full speed in the other direction. Americans are deciding with their feet that they want to go to better schools, and how dare the national office of the NAACP show that they're out of touch even with their own chapters. In fact, as I travel around the country, some of the biggest proponents of school choice are NAACP local chapters. They're the ones who bring people like you and me rolling in to talk about, guess what? The same thing. This is just another example of it's more proof that the NAACP has been mortgaged by the teachers union. And they keep paying y'all to say what they want to say. Recognize one of the first things he mentioned was the teachers. You want to know what happens when we don't have to go through the rules of certification? We're able to hire the 5 black males that I'm able to hire to be faculty here at Capital Prep in Bridgeport. That's 5 black males, 3 of whom went to Morehouse, which has no education school unless they go over to Spelman. So I'm able to bring in African Americans to teach African American children in the African American community, in which 90% of the children are reading, writing, and doing math below grade level, brother. If you really will children, then you recognize that it's not a few schools. In fact, it's more the rule than not. If you look at the Credo study, one of the things that you would find out is that the group that is most benefiting from school choice in general and charters in specific are African American males. You want to stop the school to prison pipeline? Then stop sending black boys to failed schools that keep funding the NAACP through teachers union dues, man.